I woke up smiling because life finally felt steady. 6 months earlier, I had slipped a simple silver ring onto Emily's finger beside the river where we had shared our first date. She cried, hugged me, and whispered, "Yes. 1,000 times yes." I laughed and kissed her forehead. "I thought you'd make me beg." "You already did," she teased. "You waited 3 years. I wanted to be sure I deserved you." "You already do." That memory carried me through every long workday. We agreed to finish our careers before having a small wedding. Neither of us wanted a huge celebration. "We'll keep it simple," Emily had said. "As long as you're there, I don't care where we marry." She smiled. "Promise?" "I promise." I believed promises meant forever. Ryan Brooks had been my best friend since we were 8 years old. We had survived school fights, college exams, broken cars, and impossible bosses together. I trusted him like family. One Friday evening, my phone rang. "Ethan!" Ryan shouted. "You sound excited." "I met someone," I laughed. "Finally." "I was beginning to think you'd marry your job." "Very funny." "So who is she?" "You'll meet her soon." "Already serious?" "More than serious. I'm happy for you. I need one more favor." "Name it." "I want you to be my best man." I smiled without thinking. "Of course. You didn't even ask when." "I don't need to. You're my brother." He went quiet for a second. "Thanks, Ethan. I'll stand beside you no matter what." "If you only knew," he muttered. "What?" "Nothing. I'll send the invitation." The call ended. I stared at my phone and laughed. 2 weddings, mine and Ryan's. Life couldn't get much better. The next evening, I visited Emily. She opened the door with tired eyes. "Long day?" I asked. "The longest." I kissed her cheek. "You've been working too much." "I know. You've barely answered my messages." "I'm sorry." "You don't have to apologize." She forced a smile. "I'll make it up to you." "You already have?" "How?" "You came home." Instead of hugging me, she stepped back. "I still have work." "Again?" "My deadline is close." "I miss you." "I miss you too." Her answer sounded practiced. I ignored the feeling growing inside my chest. Love meant trust. Didn't it? A few days later, I told my sister Grace about Ryan's wedding. She raised one eyebrow. "That's sudden." "I know. Have you met the bride?" "Not yet." "That's strange." "Ryan likes surprises." She folded her arms. "And Emily? What about her?" "Something feels different." I frowned. "She's busy." "That's what you keep saying." "Because it's true." Grace looked at me for several seconds. "I hope you're right." "I am." "You've always trusted people too easily. I'd rather trust than live suspicious." She sighed. "Just keep your eyes open." I laughed. "You worry too much." "I hope I do." The rehearsal arrived faster than expected. Ryan greeted me outside the church. "There he is." I hugged him. "Nervous?" "A little." "You'll survive." He smiled, but it never reached his eyes. "Thanks for coming." "You really won't let me meet the bride?" "You'll see her tomorrow." "You love being dramatic." "Maybe." Inside the church, people kept looking at me. 2 women whispered. A man stopped talking when I walked past. I frowned. "Do I have something on my face?" Ryan answered too quickly. "No." "Then why is everyone staring?" "They're just curious." "About what?" "Nothing." His voice sounded tight. Before I could ask another question, a woman carrying a clipboard approached us. "You must be Ethan." "I am." "I'm Olivia, the wedding planner." She shook my hand but looked strangely uncomfortable. "It's nice to meet you," I said. "You too." She glanced at Ryan, then back at me. "Is everything all right?" Ryan interrupted. "Everything's perfect." Olivia forced a smile. "If you need anything tomorrow, let me know." As she walked away, she looked over her shoulder at me twice. I turned toward Ryan. "What's going on?" What do you mean? People are acting weird. They're stressed. No. They're planning a wedding. Ryan, he clapped my shoulder. Relax. I wanted to believe him. That night, I called Emily. She answered after several rings. Hey, I miss you. I know. I wish you were here. I wish I could be. When's your project over? Soon. Will you come over this weekend? Silence. Emily? I'll try. You always say that. I'm doing my best. I know. Another silence. I love you, I said. She took longer than usual. I love you too. The call ended. I stared at the dark screen. For the first time since proposing, those words didn't calm me. The next morning, I adjusted my tie and stood inside the church. Guests filled the seats. Soft music floated through the room. Ryan stood beside me. You okay? I asked. He swallowed. No. Wedding nerves. You could say that. The doors closed. Everyone stood. The music changed. I smiled. This is it. Ryan said nothing. The doors slowly opened. The bride stepped inside wearing a beautiful white dress. My smile disappeared. My breathing stopped. The bouquet slipped from her trembling hands for 1 second before she caught it. I knew that face. I knew those eyes. I knew the woman walking toward the altar. Emily, my fiancée. My entire body froze. Every promise, every kiss, every dream, everything shattered in one impossible moment. My heartbeat thundered inside my ears as I whispered, "This can't be real." The church blurred around me. I heard the priest speaking, guests clapping, and cameras clicking, but every sound felt far away. My feet refused to move. Emily never looked at me again. Ryan kept his eyes on the altar, as if I no longer existed. I wanted to scream, yet my voice stayed trapped inside my chest. The ceremony ended. People surrounded the newly married couple with smiles and congratulations. I walked straight toward them. Ryan. He finally looked at me. Ethan. Talk to me. He sighed. Not here. No. Right now. Emily lowered her head. I stared at the ring on her finger. It was supposed to be mine. She whispered, I'm sorry. Don't, Ethan. Don't apologize before telling me the truth. Ryan stepped between us. Let's go somewhere private. I've earned that much. He nodded. We entered a small room behind the church. The door closed. Nobody spoke. Finally, I broke the silence. When did this start? Emily wiped her eyes. Months ago. How many? 7. I laughed bitterly. I proposed 6 months ago. She couldn't answer. I looked at Ryan. You stood beside me when I bought that ring. I remember. You congratulated me. I did. You shook my hand. I know. So you were already sleeping with my fiancé. He didn't deny it. My stomach twisted. You both smiled in my face every day, Emily whispered. It wasn't supposed to happen. It happened anyway. Ryan crossed his arms. Feelings changed. You call this feelings? I love her. I stared at him. No. You wanted to win. He frowned. You always had everything. What are you talking about? The better grades. I studied. The better job. I worked. The perfect relationship. I loved her. He laughed without humor. You never understood. There was nothing to understand. There was everything. Emily stepped forward. I made my own choice. I looked at her. Then tell me. She took a deep breath. I chose Ryan. Why? He can give me more. The words hit harder than any punch. More? A bigger life. We were building one together. It was taking too long. We agreed to wait. I changed. You lied. She cried quietly. I didn't know how to tell you. You had months. I was scared. You weren't scared enough to wear my ring while planning your wedding with him. She covered her face. Ryan spoke again. It's over. I laughed. Over? You should move on. I spent years calling you my brother. I'm sorry. No, you're not. He stayed silent. I looked at both of them. You deserve each other. I turned toward the door. Ethan, Emily called. I stopped. I never wanted to hurt you. I answered without looking back. You just decided my pain was worth the price. I walked outside. The fresh air burned my lungs. I reached my car and slammed the door. For several minutes, I simply sat there. My hands shook. I pulled the engagement photo from my wallet. I stared at our smiles. Then I folded the picture in half. Someone knocked on my window. Grace. She opened the passenger door. I knew I'd find you here. I couldn't speak. She quietly sat beside me. After a long silence, she asked, "Was it really Emily?" I nodded. She closed her eyes. I'm so sorry. I wasn't enough. Don't say that. She chose him. That doesn't decide your worth. It feels like it. She reached across the console and squeezed my hand. Cry if you need to. I can't. You don't have to stay strong. I don't even know who I am anymore. You are still my brother. I finally broke. Tears filled my eyes. Everything I had held inside came pouring out. Grace never interrupted. She simply stayed beside me. Days passed. I barely slept. Food tasted like nothing. Work became the only place where I could forget for a few minutes. On my first morning back, Daniel Ross stopped by my desk. You look terrible. I've had better weeks. I heard something happened. I nodded. My fiancée married my best friend. Daniel blinked twice. I don't even know what to say. You don't have to say anything. He pulled up a chair. Come to lunch with me. I'm not hungry. I wasn't asking. For the first time in days, I almost smiled. During lunch, he talked about everything except my heartbreak. By the end of the meal, I realized that silence could sometimes heal more than advice. Weeks later, my manager handed me several project files. We're reviewing contracts connected to Brooke's development. I looked up. Ryan's company? Yes. My chest tightened. I opened the financial reports. At first, I only wanted to finish my assignment. Then several numbers caught my attention. Payments disappeared. Invoices repeated. Company names changed without explanation. I frowned. This doesn't look right. Daniel walked over. What did you find? I'm not sure. He studied the pages. These transfers are strange. You see them too? Yes. A man entered the office conference room. Daniel pointed toward him. That's Nah. I locked the office door and spread every document across the conference table. The missing payments, fake invoices, and strange transfers formed a pattern that refused to leave my mind. My hands trembled as I looked at Ryan's company name printed across the pages. Part of me wanted to march into his office and throw everything in his face. Another part reminded me that anger had already taken enough from me. Daniel walked in carrying 2 cups of coffee. You've been here since sunrise. I couldn't sleep. I guessed. He handed me a cup. What do you think? I think something is seriously wrong. He studied the files. I agree. I want to expose him. He looked directly at me. Why? Because he deserves it. Is that your only reason? I stayed quiet. Daniel folded his arms. If revenge is your goal, you'll stop thinking clearly. So, I'm supposed to do nothing? I didn't say that. He stole my future. I know. He lied to me for months. I know. He smiled while destroying my life. Daniel nodded. I know all of that. Then tell me why I shouldn't destroy him. Because innocent people work for that company. His words stopped me. What if employees lose everything because of your anger? I looked back at the papers. I don't want anyone else getting hurt. Then don't chase revenge. What should I chase? The truth. I slowly nodded. The truth. That afternoon, I copied every suspicious document onto a secure drive. I recorded dates. I matched signatures. I compared bank transfers. The deeper I searched, the worse everything looked. My phone vibrated. Unknown number. I answered. Hello? A nervous voice whispered. Is this Ethan? Yes. This is Olivia. The wedding planner? Yes. How did you get my number? I asked around. Why are you calling? I need to tell you something. Go ahead. Not over the phone. We agreed to meet at a quiet cafe. Olivia arrived wearing sunglasses despite the cloudy weather. She sat across from me. I'm sorry. For what? I knew something was wrong. I frowned. What do you mean? I recognized you the second I saw you at the rehearsal. You never met me before. I didn't have to. She opened a folder. Emily showed me your engagement pictures months before the wedding. I stared at her. She what? She used one while discussing decorations. My throat tightened. You knew she was engaged. I did. So why didn't you tell me? Ryan told me the engagement had ended and said you already knew about everything. He lied. I realize that now. She pushed the folder toward me. I couldn't stop thinking about your face after the ceremony. Inside were printed emails, text messages, vendor schedules, and payment records. I saved everything. Why? In case someone needed the truth. I slowly opened one message. Ryan had written, "Don't worry, Ethan still believes every word." I closed my eyes. Olivia whispered, "I'm sorry. You didn't betray me. I still feel guilty. You gave me something more valuable than an apology." What? The truth. She smiled sadly. I hope it helps. It already has. When I returned to work, Daniel examined the documents. This is huge. It gets worse. I showed him Ryan's messages. Daniel shook his head. He planned everything. Looks that way. Before we could continue, Nathan Reed entered the office building. He looked exhausted. Dark circles surrounded his eyes. His suit was wrinkled. He barely noticed me. Daniel leaned closer. He wasn't like that last month. Nathan answered a phone call near the hallway. I told you we can't keep hiding the money. He paused. No. Another pause. I'm not taking the blame alone. He ended the call and rubbed his forehead. I quietly watched him leave. Daniel whispered, He's cracking. I think he's scared. Good. No. Daniel looked surprised. I don't want him scared. What do you want? I want him honest. 2 evenings later, I received another unexpected call. Ethan? I recognized the voice immediately. Mrs. Brooks? Ryan's mother sounded exhausted. Can we meet? Why? I owe you the truth. We met at a small park where she used to bring Ryan and me after school. She looked older than I remembered. I'm sorry, she whispered. You don't owe me anything. I do. She wiped tears from her face. I should have stopped this years ago. Stopped what? She stared at the ground. Ryan spent his whole life competing with you. I never competed with him. I know. He was my best friend. You were also the person he could never beat. I frowned. He thought everyone loved you more. I never noticed. You weren't supposed to. She managed a weak smile. When you won awards, he smiled. I thought he was happy. He cried at home. When you graduated first. She paused. He punched his bedroom wall. I couldn't speak. When you proposed to Emily. Her voice broke. He told me if he couldn't have your success, he'd take your happiness. I felt cold. You knew? I begged him to stop. He didn't listen. No, she reached for my hand. I'm ashamed. I squeezed her fingers gently. This isn't your fault. I raised him. You also tried to save him. She cried quietly. I don't recognize my own son anymore. Neither did I. As I walked away from the park, I realized something had changed inside me. For weeks, I had dreamed about making Ryan suffer. Now I understood that his greatest punishment had started long before he betrayed me. He had spent years imprisoned by jealousy. I wasn't. For the first time since the wedding, I felt stronger than my pain. That night I organized every document: Olivia's messages, financial records, email copies, witness notes, Nathan's suspicious transactions, Ryan's conversations. Every piece fit together. The next morning I walked into the police station. A man stepped forward. "I'm Detective Samuel Price. I'm Ethan Carter. What can I do for you?" I placed the thick folder on his desk. "I believe you're about to uncover something much bigger than a broken friendship." He opened the file. His expression slowly changed. He looked back at me. "Mr. Carter." "Yes?" "This investigation starts today." I walked out of the police station feeling lighter than I had in months. Detective Samuel Price had promised to investigate quietly, and that was exactly what happened. Days turned into weeks without any public headlines. Ryan continued posting smiling photographs online as if nothing had changed. Every picture reminded me how confident he still felt. He believed nobody could touch him. I no longer cared about proving him wrong. I only wanted the truth to reach the right people. Daniel noticed the change in me. "You look calmer." I finally stopped chasing revenge. "So what are you chasing now?" "Justice." He smiled. "That's a much better reason." "I hope so." It is. Work slowly became normal again. I focused on my projects instead of my heartbreak. Every evening I went home tired instead of emotionally exhausted. It wasn't happiness yet, but it was progress. One afternoon my phone rang. "Mr. Carter?" "Speaking." "This is Detective Price." "Did something happen?" "Yes." My heartbeat quickened. "What is it?" "We've confirmed several fraudulent transactions, so the documents were real." "They were." "What happens now?" "We keep digging. I understand." "Don't contact Ryan." "I won't. We're watching him." The call ended. For the first time, I realized the investigation no longer depended on me. A week later, Daniel hurried into my office. "Have you seen the news?" "No." He placed his phone on my desk. A headline filled the screen. "Local business under financial review." I frowned. They didn't mention Ryan's name. "Not yet." "So they're testing the waters." Daniel nodded. "I think bigger stories are coming." He was right. Within days, another name appeared everywhere. Sophia Bennett, an investigative journalist. Her articles, connected shell companies, hidden accounts, and suspicious contracts. She never accused anyone without evidence. Every report included documents, interviews, and financial records. I watched one of her television interviews. The reporter asked, "Why are you investigating this company?" Sophia answered calmly, "Because money always leaves a trail." "Do you believe crimes were committed?" "I believe facts deserve daylight." Her confidence impressed me. The pressure around Ryan's company grew stronger every day. Employees started asking questions. Investors demanded explanations. Business partners quietly disappeared. Nathan Reed finally broke. Detective Price called again. "Nathan wants immunity." "He's cooperating?" "Yes." "What changed?" "He realized Ryan plans to blame everything on him." I closed my eyes. I knew that would happen. Nathan handed over internal files. "Are they useful?" "They're devastating." After the call, I sat in silence. Ryan had betrayed another person who trusted him. Nothing about that surprised me anymore. Several days later, Grace visited my apartment carrying groceries. "You forgot to buy food again." "I've been busy." "You've been distracted." She unpacked everything while studying my face. "You've changed." "I know. You don't look angry anymore." "I'm tired of being angry." She smiled proudly. "I was hoping you'd say that." "I'm finally sleeping through the night." "That's real healing." "I think so." She hugged me before leaving. "Keep moving forward." "I will." Another week passed. Sophia published her biggest story yet. This time, Ryan's name filled every headline. Television crews surrounded his office. Investors demanded their money. Former clients canceled contracts. His company stock collapsed. I watched the news without celebrating. Justice felt quieter than revenge. Emily called that evening. I ignored it. She called again. Then again. Finally, I answered. What? Please don't hang up. I'm listening. Can we meet? Why? I need to explain. Months too late, please. After several seconds, I agreed. We met in the same riverside park where I had proposed. She looked exhausted. Dark circles surrounded her eyes. I barely recognized you, I admitted. I barely recognized myself. Neither of us I woke before sunrise when my phone rang. Ethan? I recognized Detective Samuel Price immediately. Good morning, it will be. What happened? We're arresting Ryan today. I closed my eyes. It's over?
The evidence is overwhelming, Nathan testified.
Yes, he told the truth. He finally did. I thanked him before ending the call. For several minutes, I simply stood beside my window watching the sun rise. Months earlier, I would have celebrated. Instead, I felt peaceful. Daniel called an hour later. Have you seen the news? Not yet. Turn on the television. Ryan appeared on every channel. Police officers escorted him from his office in handcuffs. Reporters shouted questions. Did you steal investor money? Do you deny the fraud charges? Was your business a scam? Ryan kept his head down. The confident man who had smiled at the altar was gone. Daniel laughed softly. Justice finally arrived. It did. How do you feel? I thought carefully before answering. Free. That is the best answer you could have given. We ended the call. Grace arrived that evening carrying my favorite takeout. Figured today deserved dinner. I smiled. It does. She placed the food on the table. You know what makes me happiest?
What? You aren't smiling because Ryan...
Lost. I looked at her. No. You're smiling because you survived. She was right. Week later, Detective Price invited me to the station. The case is officially closed. He shook my hand. Thank you for trusting the process. Thank you for protecting the truth. Nathan's testimony helped. I heard. He admitted everything. I'm glad. We also recovered money for many victims. I smiled. That matters more than Ryan. Going to prison. It does. As I prepared to leave, Detective Price stopped me. One more thing. Yes? You could have chosen revenge. I almost did, but you didn't. I finally understood that truth lasts. Longer than anger. He nodded. I wish more people learned that. Life slowly became normal. Work filled my schedule. New clients trusted me with larger projects. My manager called me into his office. Ethan, sit down. I did. We're promoting you. I blinked. Seriously? You earned it. I wasn't expecting this. You rebuilt yourself while everyone else made excuses. Thank you. I expect great things from you. I won't disappoint you. I walked out of his office, smiling. Daniel waited outside. Well, I got the promotion. He hugged me. I knew it. You knew everything. I only knew you. Months passed. One rainy afternoon, my phone vibrated. Emily stared at the screen. Then I answered, hello, thank you. For what? For answering. What do you need? One last conversation. I almost refused. Instead, I quietly said, where? We met at a small coffee shop. She looked different. Not because of her clothes. Not because of her hair. Hope had disappeared from her face. She sat across from me. I heard about your promotion. Yes, I'm happy for you. Thank you. She wrapped both hands around her cup. I lost everything. Stayed silent. My friends disappeared. Listened. My family barely speaks to me. I nodded. My career is over. I'm sorry. She looked surprised. You mean that? I don't enjoy seeing people suffer. Tears formed in her eyes. I deserve. I didn't come here to judge you. I came to apologize. You already did. Not like this. She took a deep breath. I traded honesty for comfort. I said nothing. I thought Ryan loved me. She laughed sadly. He loved beating you. I remembered Margaret's words. No, I didn't understand until it was too late. I believe you. She wiped away another tear. Can you ever love me again? I answered honestly. No. She closed her eyes. I expected that. The man who asked you to marry him doesn't exist anymore. I know. He died the day I watched. You walked toward another man, she quietly cried. I'm sorry. I believe you. I wish I could undo everything. You can't. I know. She looked at me for several seconds, then tell me one thing. What? Did you ever hate me? I hated what happened, but not me. I tried. What stopped you? I smiled gently. Holding hate meant letting you control my life even after you left, she whispered. You've become stronger. I had no choice. She nodded. I finally understand. What? The greatest revenge wasn't exposing Ryan. I waited. It was becoming someone I couldn't destroy, I smiled. You finally see it. She stood. I won't bother you. Again, I know. I hope your future is beautiful. I hope yours becomes honest. She gave a small smile before walking away forever. Never saw her again. Another season passed. Grace visited my office, carrying coffee. She looked around proudly. Remember when this was just a dream? So do I. She laughed. You finally smile like your old self. I shook my head. No, what do you mean? I smile like someone better. She grinned. I'll accept that answer. Daniel joined us after work. He raised a paper cup. A toast. To what? Real friends. I lifted mine. To loyalty, Grace added. To second chances, Daniel smiled. And to never ignoring red flags. Again, we all laughed. The sound felt natural, not forced, not borrowed. Mine. Several. Months later, my assistant walked into my office. This came for you. She handed me an elegant envelope. I looked at the gold lettering, another wedding invitation. For a brief second, memories rushed back. The church. The music, the heartbreak. Then they quietly faded. My assistant asked, should I open it? I smiled. No. I placed the envelope on my desk without breaking the seal. She looked confused. Aren't you curious? Not anymore. After she left, I stood beside the window overlooking the city. The future stretched farther than I had ever imagined. Once I believed losing Emily had ended my life. Instead, it had revealed Ryan stole my trust. Emily broke my heart. Neither of them took my future. I built that myself. I picked up my briefcase. There were meetings waiting, dreams waiting, a life waiting. I walked toward the office door. Without looking back, as I reached the hallway, one final thought crossed my mind. The day they thought they ruined me was the day I finally found myself.